Now, I'm not going to be able to pronounce people's names, so perhaps if you come to the table and please introduce yourselves. Thank you very much.
Hi, good day, Your Honour. Councillors, my name's Andrew Abican. It's my partner Lydia Bayes of Screech, and some of you may have met Phil Elmy before. Richard, our geotech engineer, our, as I say loosely, is unable to attend. This is a presentation made similar in August 2013 when there was a different council sitting before us, and I'd just like to restate the urgency with which we'd like this matter moved on. Essentially, it's all about our house. Now, we've got some slides up at the front as well, and I think you've got that on your front of you now. And really, it's about sort of the rock protection funding offer from Christchurch City Council in relation to private land, i.e. one house, or the possibility of area-wide mitigation for the larger immediate community. Back in almost a year ago now, the council moved to consider funding for rock protection structures on private land. We're grateful for that because it gives us means of moving forward. However, we still believe that's slightly short-sighted. So, Ellie, if you could just move on to the next one. This maybe gives a better representation just about the slope above us. To either side of us, you can see there's the yellow connotations that just dictate more cliff face, and in between, the sort of blue identified rockfall source is kinder, more gentle. So we've been told by geotech engineers. And so either side of our house, we've had the Portio Geotech assessed at least twice, and we've had Geoscience go up there as well, another approved provider for geotechnical support. And there's been no rock roll within 60 metres either side of us. And that accompanies, that sort of covers over approximately 18 houses. One of them, Neil and Bev, on the corner of Lower Sumnervale and Pinsarby, are green. We'd like to give them some more neighbours, and we think it's a sensible and viable option to consider area-wide mitigation. Since February 25th, 2011, that's great, thanks, Ali. We've been out of our house for almost 3 years, and to the best of our knowledge with which we've looked into, we're currently the only house seeking rock protection funding from the Christchurch City Council, and I think there's only 2 other houses we know that we're not entirely sure down on Lower Sumnervale if they've taken out the offer from the government yet. So we've followed the recommendations to pursue rock protection funding on private land. However, we've had geotechnical advice time and time again, pretty much ever since day one, that area-wide mitigation in our area is cost-effective. And so I guess looking on to the next slide, the bigger picture, as we've touched on before, is that there's 17 houses, including ours, currently unoccupied that, yeah, they do need a bit of touch-up work, there's no doubt about it, but the land is safe and there's currently a housing shortage. So why are we not looking forward to spending more money to save a lot more houses and get, recoup a lot more money? And I guess one of our key questions is that, we've been at this for a long time. We've had immense support from Phil and other members of the community, and even the, sort of unfunded geotech support as well too. And we just feel we're doing a lot of work, and we're always working against the council staff. And we've had a good indication of one solution. I don't know if it's the solution, where we're asking the council to consider spending up to about $1 million and recouping potentially $7 million of housing asset based on a 2007 government valuation. And I'm fairly sure, if you move on there, Ali, thanks, that those houses may well be worth quite a bit more at this particular time. So what are we asking of the council? Please support area-wide mitigation. That's both time and cost effective, as opposed to just doing one house at a time. And also just a reminder that the council is an equal partner with Sarah in sharing 50% of the red zoning costs. So please use our money towards, it's not our money, it's the taxpayers and councils, ratepayers, area-wide mitigation for our immediate community as well. And it's a win-win situation. The council can make a real difference in rescuing good quality houses and saving millions of dollars. So just to recap for the next picture there, Ali, if you would. Just a quick summary there, the yellow line's dotted down. So initially Geoscience was commissioned to look at our house, and they looked at 3 very straightforward solutions: treatment at source, so going up and bolting and netting, and I believe the term is shotcreting the cliff face in blue, And that was more to do with our house. However, when we discussed about extending that scope, into council land, they looked at the next alley, if you would, thank you. This is an aerial view. Two key points here is that the dotted lines are similar to the previous picture. Our house is dotted in red. You'll notice that there's some purple boulders and there's some blue boulders. The blue boulders are historical ones. They've fallen between the last, 5 million years. The purple ones on either side of theirs have fallen since February 2011. So that's the corridors, and it sort of gives you an indication about the gullies with which these boulders will fall. And if they do fall again, those are the bouldered lines that they'll most likely take. And that's geotechnical advice. That's not just sort of our thoughts on it. However, the red line is the area of the Captain Thomas, and the proposal for one earthworks bund of 250 metres along those lines would be approximately, in a conservative estimate, of about 950,000. And this is again what we've asked Richard and the Geoscience New Zealand team to provide for us, just as a quick geotechnically backed idea of what one structure would be. They've also said in order to they'd seriously support revisiting treatment at source. However, in order to do that, they really need to get boots on the ground up there, and that's quite a lot of time to get up there. Next, if you would please, Ali, thanks. So we made this similar appeal last time, and we very politely received this response. And I know there's a new council and a lot of other things have been going on, but nothing's happened. And we're not a unique situation here. There are a number of other communities. It can be a number of houses. A small number or a large number, but within the Port Hills, this, I guess you could argue, a model could be extended to areas where they're very sensible, cost-effective means of returning people to their houses. And we did talk about trees before, and certainly maybe that's another discussion, but area-wide mitigation itself based on geotechnical assessment about life risk is what we really want to push forward. And if you please move on to the next slide. So that just recoups basically potential costs that you're exposed to, or you may be already being exposed to, and if you can recoup them. Also in consideration is that there's tenders out for about $25,000 per house, and that's approximating about $200,000 the cost attributed to Christchurch City Council, and never mind the annual rates of about $40,000. And this is from the Christchurch City Council. And just Ali, if you would, the next one. So again, just briefly, cost benefit. I guess one thing that's been put forward by Jerry Brownlee is that if that does go forward, then hopefully when Sarah and Christchurch City Council get together and agree on this, that the original owners would have first rights of repurchasing their property, and then if not, then the council will have the right to put this up on the market. I'm not sure how much more time do I have. I'm okay. 3 minutes, great. I think we're just about finishing up. Just quickly, this is the next one, Ali. Just quickly, this was actually on page 126 of the EQR committee agenda. So it's the first agenda here. And on the left-hand side is the cost-effective concerns when it was made a decision by Sarah not to pursue it. And our answer simply is that, as far as we can say, between Sarah and yourselves, you're spending $1 million and recouping at least $7 million based on 2007. It's not a fence we're looking for. It's a bund or treating at source. So again, there's some... All those concerns were raised back in, I think, 2012. So, it's a very sensible and straightforward action we'd request the council to make in this matter, and maybe in our situation as a start, and then hopefully extending this to other communities as well. It does go on. I think I would ask Phil just to make a comment in relation to that too.
This is a case. Hundreds of houses on the Port Hills that could be viably saved in an economic way. Is not backed up by technical evidence. We've displayed that time and time. It's now, basically. And it needs to happen fast. The debacle on the Port Hills is at a stage where it will descend into a great deal of community dislocation and legal action, and it's what's going to happen unless the council acts now.
It's 10 minutes exactly, but I'm just going to take my chair's, ability to change the rules and just ask one question. Are you aware that the Minister has stated that the government has stated that they won't change the zoning even if the mitigation is put in place?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that there's two answers to that. First of all, I will consider it if you remove all the rockfall hazard. Now, I've talked to our engineer about that, and that's millions and millions of dollars. We're going to meet with Sarah Engineer as well just to clarify exactly how much rock we have to remove. But around the world, there are many, many examples of very sensible, effective measures, and we don't have a problem with staying red zone because our insurance company will support us, our bank will support us, and people will buy the houses around us.
Right.
As residents, we can't do anything about what the Minister has decided. We think that you possibly can.
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for your deputation. I mean, it is worthwhile, and I think that part of what we've discovered as a new council, and we discovered it at the Committee of the Whole last week, that there is such a pent-up level of frustration in different parts of the community that we were quite overwhelmed at that meeting. But please be assured that your representations today are being listened to, and we will certainly take them away and do what we can within the constraints that our environment places upon us. But thank you very much. It's been a very powerful presentation. Thank you. Right.